when you join the Community Pay It Forward family. Your business can be seen because people know your business will offer hope to organizations like Todd Lingle of CARES Foundation. CARES Foundation is a proud mission partner of Community Pay It Forward. CARES Foundation is dedicated to educating young drivers of the dangers of impaired and distracted driving. Every sale through Community Pay It Forward helps support incredible organizations like the CARES Foundation.
Hey there, friends. I've been thinking. We all have our strengths, right? I can do this, but I'm not so great at that. I'm pretty good at talking to people, but I'm not so great at adding things into a website or app. Oops. I love speaking, sharing stories, social media, all those hashtags and algorithms. Yeah. That's a jungle I haven't quite figured out yet. Coming up with ideas that bring folks together, I'm all about it. But bookkeeping, let's just say numbers, and I don't exactly get along. But that's okay, because someone out there is good at those things. And when we work together, magic happens. See, Community Pay It Forward has never been about one person. It's a program built by many to support even more. Every one of us brings something special to the table. We all have talents that make us great on our own. But imagine how much stronger we are when we bring all those talents together. That's what Community Pay It Forward is all about. Your skills, my skills, our hearts, working together to make a difference. So tell me, what are you good at? Let's find out together. Visit communitypayitforward.us and join the movement.
Good morning, everyone. It is Monday morning, December 1st. Whoop. That loud boom you heard was December coming in, which means we're at 12th month of the year, last month of the year. So as shocking as that is for me to say, like right now as I'm saying it, it actually really did kind of freak me out when I said that. We're here. So another year is coming to an end for both of our shows in the Pack Channel. And starting this month, we're going to be making a few changes. Community Impact is going to be starting at 8 o'clock Eastern for a very specific reason. And this is especially to all my friends out on the Pack Channel. The third Wednesday of every month is now Lynn's Day, which means that we're having one of our wonderful giving partners, Lynn Sibulski, is going to be joining us and giving free readings on this show. Okay? Free tarot readings. And it's really interesting. And she really shocked a couple people last month. So I'm looking forward to you joining us and seeing more about what she can do and what she can say about you, your journey ahead, and everything like that. Well, it being tarot and something like that, I wanted to invite someone very special in my life and somebody who you all know, my Things Network brethren and sistren, And my wife is going to be joining us on that show, Adrian Clayton. She's going to be joining us every third Thursday for third Wednesday, every third Wednesday for Lynn's Day, which I'm really looking forward to that. Adrian and I don't do a show together. We are very seldomly, I guess, we're seen together on video. I pop in on her show every once in a while, but it's not all that often. Jeremy will ask me a question every once in a while, or I'll come on and I'll talk about it. And we did mention a couple of weeks ago that Lynn's Day was starting, so we do invite you to come and join us once again. She's going to be giving out free tarot readings for 1 hour, so come on and join us. We need your help. We desperately need your help. We're in the month. We've only got 21 days to get this done. I need you to scan the QR code above and record your story. Record a story. Read something as if you're reading it to children. Read your favorite Christmas book. Relive your favorite holiday memory. Share a recipe. Even if you just want to say, hey, this is what you do. I'm not going to get in there and prepare the meal, but this is what we do for a turkey based, whatever. I don't care. Prepare it if you would like. Record it and send it in. This is going to be 37 straight hours of doing positive things. If we collect money, that's going to put books into hospitals. We've already put books in 2 of the Northern Colorado hospitals, the 2 here in Greeley. And it was really exciting. The nurses were so happy. The volunteer coordinators were just thrilled to get these gifts. We have a beginning. 2 full boxes getting ready to go to Northern Colorado hospitals. Congratulations to everyone who's been helping us with this and everyone who's going to continue. We are starting this off in a really good way. Please make sure you continue to drop off books, collect books, or donate via our QR code or the link below. So we would like to duplicate that. We'd like to get at least 2 more boxes sent to the hospitals, at least, to a couple more hospitals in Northern Colorado. I do want to let you know that coming up the second, and I'm getting this one right, the second Thursday of this month, which is going to be the 11th, is family networking. And on family networking, we're asking if you can to donate $10. And that $10, like Deborah Laurel, who donated $10, will go to buying more books. We do have a short stack of books over there already. Thank you, Deb. I greatly appreciate that. It's another start. Any money that we collect. And if you're in the Greeley area, you want to stop by, we have a Christmas tree on our front porch. We're going to put a box down there. Just put them inside the box, put the cover back on the box in case there's moisture. We don't want them to get ruined. Books, board games for all age kids, 18 and under, okay? Let's do this. Let's get this going. Our address is 1427 7th Street in Greeley, Colorado. That's 1427 7th Street in Greeley, Colorado, 80631. Just let us know. You can also drop them off at Key Largo Lounge in Greeley, and just let them know that this is for community pay it forward, and the book drive will run over. We'll pick it up. So let's get this going, folks. And if you are not in Greeley, but you have new books new board games. Take them to your hospital. Say, hey, you know what? We'd like to donate this to you. We'd like to put this into this hospital for kids to have fun when they're in the hospital, when they're going through these tough times. So mom and dad can read them that book and they can have fun. They can do something with it. Get their mind off what's going on in their lives. It's a very simple thing to do, folks. The miracle of the season is coming up, and we need you to get on that QR code now and help us out for the 2026. Yeah, that's right. 2025. Sorry, I'm already a year ahead. 2025 Miracle of the Season.
Hi, friends. I'm Barry, and this is my amazing support gang, Zayden, Avery, and Bert. We're here to invite you to something truly magical, the miracle of the season.
This year, we're asking you to collect new books and board games. Yes, they must be new. And deliver them to the 2025 Chili Cook-Off, Community Pay It Forward, or your local children's ward at the hospital closest to you.
These gifts will bring comfort, imagination, and joy to children who need it most.
We also want you to read your favorite story, just like you would to your own kids, and record it for us to share on air.
Help us by purchasing these books and board games.
Open the cover and sign it with your family name, leaving the "to" blank for a nurse to fill in.
Let's celebrate the beauty of every tradition, every story, and every act of love.
Tell us about your favorite holiday memories. What did you celebrate? What moments with family and community do you cherish most?
Your voice could bring a beloved tale to someone who's never heard it before.
Businesses, we need you too. Sponsorships help us reach more families and make this season truly miraculous. Join us in showing your love for the community. Join us
for the miracle of the season.
Visit communitypayitforward.us to learn more, get involved, and share your story.
So come on, folks, get involved and share your story. Again, scan the QR code today. Let's get some videos going. 37 hours is a long time to put together videos if you don't have any videos. I need your help. Please make sure you get involved and you do this. Coming up today, we've got two videos that are previously recorded. The first one is a friend of mine I met through aforementioned Lynn Sibulski, and also my good buddy Mr. Z. And she helps people in different ways. She is really focused on healing without medication. She's focused on healing the entire body and healing the person. Aviva Chansky Gutman. So this was a video that we put together a couple late last week. So I'd like to introduce you to Aviva Chansky. Sorry, Aviva Chansky Gutman. Here we go. Hello every morning. Hello every morning. Thank God I'm editing this. Yeah. Thank God I'm editing this. So good morning, everyone. It's Zak Clayton here, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. I'm here with a really good friend. We have a couple friends in common that many of you will know. One of them being Mr. Z, and the other one being the wonderful Lynn, who, as you all know, has now joined us to where every third Wednesday, it's Lynn's Day. So Lynn will be giving out free readings every third Wednesday. But I'm being joined by Aviva Chansky Gutman. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Preparing for the holiday season.
Yeah,
how about you?
It is crazy that just to think that, Thanksgiving is here, and as soon as Thanksgiving's here, then it's Christmas. But to me, the thing that freaks me out probably the most, that means that New Year's is like right here. That means that it's another year that's gone. And you're like, wow, what happened to it? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. And it seems to me like the years go a little bit quicker when things for you are better. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the year doesn't drag on when personal life is dragging. It seems like everything is going a lot better, and that's something that you try to help people do is help with their relationships. And it's not just a lot of times people hear relationships and they hear lover or people. No, you try to help them with all relationships.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So, but you use a system that is a little bit different. Uh, Imago,
It's called
Imago,
Imago Relationship
Imago.
Therapy. I'm certified in Imago Relationship Therapy, but it has lots of derivatives that have to do with being able to have a safe and connecting conversation of any type with any type of person or relationship. We're in relationships with everybody we encounter. We're even in relationships with people we think about and don't see. It's how we're connected in some way. So, Imago Relationship Therapy was initially based on couples in close romantic relationship, but it has expanded because the founders, Harville Hendricks and his wife, Helen LaKelly Hunt, realized there's so much more that it can help with in the culture. So that's just a small description of it, but also the word imago, just to let everybody know, means image in Latin. And the theory was written about relationships, the image we have of what it is to be in connection with someone. So the word image sounded too much like taking photographs, Harville says. So he decided what word would say image in a way people could remember it. And that was really a clinically sounding word. So Imago is why that's in the title, Imago Relationship Therapy.
And this is I'm not going to bring up what I asked you earlier about the video, but one of the things that one of the other things you brought up in that video is a lot of times one of the things that you have to help people talk about is how in a altercation with someone, one person is part of a conflict and the other person is looking for the solution all the time. Um,
Well, that depends what type of a conflict it is. Usually it's about a lack of connection or misunderstanding, or there's not a point of meeting where the people in relationship understand each other when they're having some type of a conflict. So, in the exercise that we employ in Imago Relationship Therapy, it is called a safe conversation Imago dialogue. So you're helping people learn the skills of relating in a way that's not about disconnecting, but about connecting and feeling fully understood. So I'm not sure exactly what part you're referring to. I think you're referring to a video on my website that is a little bit back in time. So I don't remember everything I said on it or what I
yeah,
refer to, but I can just say that often it's the misunderstanding part that we're trying to help with people in any type of relationship. That's where the issue is the misunderstanding and this disconnect.
the reason I brought that up, and I understand that that was a little while back. It was in the same video that I was talking to you about earlier. But the reason I was bringing that up is that I've been in conflicts before in past relationships where that's exactly what it was. If it came to something, one person was yelling and the other person was like, God, how do I get out of this? What do I have to do to put it bluntly, to shut them up and move on to the next thing? And so that really caught my attention. I was like, wow, wait a minute here. I never realized we were doing that.
I think you might be referring to the fact that when we are in active, heated discussion with anyone, what happens in human nature is that we're not necessarily being present to understand and fully hear the other person. We're just waiting for the sound to end of what they're saying so that we can have our response. And oftentimes we're thinking about how to defend ourselves in that type of an interaction. And that only leads to more disconnection because there's this defense attack feeling between people. But the type of work I do helps people understand that the key to connection is first being very present for your partner understanding fully, being aware of what they're saying and making sure you understand them. But it takes a skill set of being an active listener, plus it takes a skill set of understanding we might have reactions, but we need to put them to the side so that we can be fully present for the person in the moment. And that's a very hard skill to learn when you haven't used it before or you haven't encountered it yourself before. But many people, I give an example that's very culturally referenced these days is when you order something from Starbucks, the barista will say to you, so what you want is, and they'll mirror back to you what your order is. So they'll say like the latte with extra foam, shot of caramel, did I get that correct? And that's called mirroring. And that is what is the small sample in a socially referenced context that most people understand is that that's what mirroring is. So if you're in an argument with anyone or discussion, just make sure you got it. Like, let me make sure I understand you. Sometimes this will happen in doctor's offices if you're fortunate to have a practitioner that will ask you that. Let me see if I understand what you're saying. You have a headache, you felt stomach pain for 2 days, so they'll repeat back to you what you've offered them. And that's the key to having a safe, dynamic conversation that helps the person speaking be understood and the person responding be fully present. So the exercises you do have exercises in Imago Relationship Therapy to teach people how to interact in this more effective, calm way, have to do with certain sets of standards that are not allowed. There's not allowed to be escalations where you just argue for nobody hearing each other. You have to help them understand. The arguing is not effective. What's effective is learning how not to have those escalations and to contain your own reactive style and a lot of other skill sets that eventually you'll be very happy that you developed because you'll understand that that makes you be more present for the other person, for yourself, and understand how you can't always listen to that side voice that's saying, yeah, but that pisses me off. You have to help that other part understand that it has to wait a few minutes and then you have to help contain its intensity so that the conversations are more calm and connecting. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, and I also, one of the things that I had to learn, and I had to learn it really quickly, is that, every argument with every mate is different. And, you can't treat every argument the same. Um, you can't treat it like it's just a one size fits all thing. You can't come bull rushing at somebody with just words without thought behind it. And some people you can, unfortunately. One of the best people in the world, as a matter of fact, he ought to have a crown for it for mirroring, is our buddy Mr. Z. He is so good at doing that. And I don't know if you had anything to do with teaching him that, but boy, he is one of the best at doing
Yes,
that.
well, since he's probably going to watch this, yes, Z has been a stellar student of active listening, and he's also known me for over 10 years, and he's also seen demos I've done, attended some classes I had online during COVID related to active listening and connecting, and all referencing the original Imago Relationship Therapy scheme of active listening, which is mirroring, validating, and empathizing. So yes, and he does report, and I think he would be fine with me saying that it's helped increase his connection when he has these one-on-ones with people about his work or during website development, which he's superb at, to just have the back and forth, make sure he understands what you want. So that's an active listening standard, making sure you understand what the person is sending and requesting. But one thing I would encourage is to understand globally, overall, that the experience of having a fight or getting mad and having something to respond with an attack or a barb is completely the opposite of what is an effective connecting communication. It may be what we've been taught and what we've been encouraged to be like, but it doesn't help us feel connected or understand each other better or grow from things in a relationship. And it's really not just about romantic relationships. It's about every kind of relationship that we have, even from saying hello to the store clerk to saying hello to the postman. It's all about connecting in some way. So it all yields over past that encounter just one-on-one, as they say, these things reverberate onward. So if you have a better connection with someone you just see in the store, that person is having a slightly elevated feeling about life and themselves, usually because you've had a good encounter and you are too. They go to the next person they encounter and probably have a better situation with that person. And it goes on and on and on. So that's what it's about. It's very foundational, but it also is very the ripple effect. That's one thing. It's a philosophy too, the ripple effect of these connecting conversations and feeling fully heard and understood makes people go on and have more experiences like that in their families, in their lives, in their businesses. So that's also the benefit.
That is one of the things that I talk about all the time, how I will do something if I see a mom who's just at her wit's end. And, I'll be sitting there. And if I'm at the grocery store alone, for a fact there's going to be candy and probably some kind of a donut up on the thing. And I'll turn around and I'll grab myself one of my Diet Pepsis and I'll just look at her and I'll go, I have to watch my girlish figure somehow. And she'll look at me and just for a second she'll have that, huh? And she'll forget about the kid being a brat and kind of get a chuckle out of it. So I love being able to do stuff like that. But you focus on what's called energy, okay? Energy psychology. And can you tell us a little bit about why you got started in energy psychology? And more important, what is energy psychology?
Well, energy psychology is any of a number of modalities that all relate to the connection and interaction and interplay of mind, body, spirit. And many people have certain belief systems about what that is about or what the definition, let's say, of spirit. There are other names for it. There's essence, there's universe. But what it all relates to is that we are not only humans in a 3D world with our tissue, skin and cells, but we have a life that is also an emotional life. We may have very much a spiritual life. And even if we aren't believing in some type of a let's use a quote, higher power of some sort. We believe in something that's beyond our physical experience, usually. We have ethics and values. We have bodies that we feel pain in, and we have belief systems that our mind attaches to very often. And sometimes they're flexible, sometimes they're inflexible, but all of those things affect our health, our well-being, our interactions with others. So the whole umbrella of energy psychology, which people can look that up very easily. I belong to an organization called ACEP, and ACEP is ACEP, Association for Comprehensive Energy Psychology, ACEP. And under that umbrella organization, they'll find a whole explanation of all the different modalities people use for healing and health and wholeness. So the modalities that I have, Imago Relationship Therapy isn't strictly considered under that umbrella, but a lot of the emphasis is about the space between people, the energetic space of connection that they're creating by having healthier relationships. So there is a space of energy between people in relationship that is considered energetic. So that's why I also refer to that as an energy modality that does help with the health and well-being of our relationships, which are very important to all of us because we all have them. And then I also am a certified EFT tapping practitioner, and EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And that is a method which, if we have to describe it quickly, we say it's emotional acupuncture. It's an acupressure system where we touch with our own fingertips points along our body that are called meridian points. And the theory behind that is that when we have an obstacle, a traumatic memory, a negative belief, an issue that keeps activating us, very often that's about a frozen experience that's triggering us and our frozen reactions. EFT, through the use of the tapping and through some sequences of how we address the emotional reactive state that we're in, can decrease that stuck point. So we're unfreezing frozen, blocked energy. So that's also an energy modality and is based on Eastern medicine, many thousands of years old with acupuncture and other related theories that we have blocked energy that needs to be free flowing, our life energy. We're trying to unblock it. So that's a simplified explanation of EFT. And then logosynthesis is another method that I am actively working with. Logosynthesis is another energy modality based on the use of words to try to unfreeze frozen emotional energy or triggers or limiting beliefs. That one is not used through touching, which some people are averse to a somatic experience like touching themselves or feeling that it bothers them or neurologically, it's very uncomfortable for them. So logosynthesis was developed by a Swiss psychoanalyst called Dr. Willem Lammers, and he created this system where basically you're making an appeal to the energetic field to remove energy that does not belong to you, to take back the energy you've given away, and also to remove energy from your reactions that you have to standard things that cause you reactivity. So a lot of them are very intertwined. It's hard to explain exactly how until I show each modality to people. But this last month, in fact, tonight, I'm actually teaching my active listening class at an adult education center, which shows the whole mirroring, validating, and empathizing aspects of the Imago dialogue that became a safe conversation dialogue. And then last week I taught them EFT, and next week I'll teach them logosynthesis in a basic way to show them all. Students are coming to each of the 3 classes with the idea that they wanted to learn more about these 3 methods and showing the thread of how they're all energy related. So that is what I call myself also as an energy psychology practitioner, because I am very much trying to intertwine all those methods.
And please tell me if you're not comfortable doing this, but let's try to give a little bit of an example here. I've been very open about with the energies that I've carried, or with the injuries that I've carried since my motorcycle accident, and them missing stuff, and then just me being an addictive personality person, I have become very dependent on pain pills. Um, uh, what would be in obviously we can't do the tapping here, but what would be the first thing that if I came to you and I said, Aviva, I need help to conquer this, what would be the first steps that we would do?
Well, a lot of the initial work with anybody is exploration. So there would be a lot of discussion and exploration with you about anything related to the accident itself as a moment, as a triggering event, and then anything associated around that in terms of when you are aware of that memory, what do you feel in this moment related to it? So more often than not, people assume that the past is where we're going when we're talking about something, but what we're really doing at any time, the past is not here anymore. The past has an impression it's made in our systems, so that your reaction and mine for anything that's from the past is our present reaction to how we've integrated it. So first, I would explore a lot about your integration of the experience of the accident, how long ago it was, what you feel now in your body, what your response to your discomfort is when you have the discomforts. Sometimes you'll have an ache, let's say in your shoulder, and you'll immediately have other thoughts related to it. It would be about, what is this pain about? Oh, I remember I did this. This is where I fell. That type of thing. And the mind will just spin a lot about a trigger, a memory. So we do a lot of exploring on that. But something like EFT, emotional freedom techniques, helps you with your relationship to the pain, meaning we can't say pain magically disappear with a wand. What we say is, what we learn is that we can be related to it in a different way. So you may still experience pain, but you may have a more of an observer feeling to it, meaning I observe that I have that, but it's okay, I have it. It's okay is another part of a lot of these methods, is that acceptance that something is very important. In EFT, you can be aware of that pain, the memories associated with it, and then you would also include in a tapping scenario, a setup statement is, even though I have this pain at a level 8 in my shoulder, for example, I deeply and completely accept myself. So that's a dual statement where no matter what is going on, I accept who I am and I love who I am. Some people can say I love and accept myself. Some people can say I hope to love and accept myself. But your truth statement helps you, yourself, your bigger self, be aware of that the issue is separate from who you are. Because a lot of the time we're in such a focused bubble of what's going on, we feel like we are the pain, which might be how it feels when you have a lot of pain. And that's why you take the medication. I'm in pain now, I got to take care of the pain. But in energy work, you can sometimes have the person become more aware, not detached and unsympathetic, but aware as an observer effect to what's going on in the body. And therefore, it can be less of a connection. And you can sometimes withstand more, quote unquote, more subjective pain. So that would be one thing, is the exploration of it and understanding that you are separate from it. And that might lessen the intensity of it for you and lessen the desire to take something for it, medicine-wise.
See, one very important fact on what you were just talking about is I will be, and you and I had a personal conversation about how this weekend I was busy, just repeatedly doing something. And honestly, if I'm doing something and I don't think about the pain, obviously it doesn't bug me as much. But as soon as you get that first twinge in the back, or you get that first thing and you start thinking about it, then all of a sudden it's like an immediate crash. Because if it brings to attention that, oh, yeah, you do have limitations, all of a sudden they're there. And it's hard to get yourself to get back up to that place where you were. I find it very hard to do that. So, but I appreciate you going into that and walking us. It helps us learn a little bit more about your program and what you do. And I appreciate that you're, the style that it's not just walking in and immediately trying to heal without learning.
Well,
You
you
know,
actually emphasized by your answer to me also just now the mind body spirit connection. So the mind is doing this whole thing about, oh, I didn't realize this, I was as injured as I am, or as, it's affecting me as much as it is. The mind is doing all that. The mind is doing that. The mind is then having the body like kick in, like, yeah, I'm going to remind you. So what we're doing in energy psychology work, and there are other methods as well. And anyone's welcome and should, if they'd like to be more interested in knowing more about it, go to ASAP's website and just look around, because there's lots of ways to be disconnected. It's not medical surgery. It's not about, I will take away your pain. It's about, I will help you with your relationship to how you're responding to it. So that in itself can be a huge relief. But when the mind tries to jump back on board with the ruminating about, oh, yes, I feel it right now, I shouldn't have done that kind of thing. That's the mind accentuating the reaction to the pain, and also allowing it to feel more painful, most likely, because the mind's focusing on it. And you may have noticed just in general, if there's less things going on in the environment, let's say sleep or trying to sleep, that's when you feel more pain sometimes, because your brain is not as busy with other things going on. So the mind's saying, let me have something to do in a way. But that's often when people feel more pain, is in the night. Because their mind doesn't have enough, their mind's saying, let me find something, it goes there. That's not the only reason that happens, but it's just very interesting. You can change your reaction or your relationship to the pain by how the mind processes the memory of it, the reaction to it, and other similar things.
Yeah. Well, I know that at night my mind always goes to all the things I didn't get done in the day, and so I guess I don't ever let my mind really get into the pain part, because I'm always thinking about all the things I should have got done in that day. But
it's a great time to write a list.
Yeah,
It's a great
yeah,
time to write lists.
yep, absolutely. So, what what are some of the other methods that you would use in different relationships? Do you use all of the tapping, the everything else? Do you use all of that in all relationships, or is it more effective in some? Is it really just the person who
Well,
you're treating?
mostly I'll focus on how I teach people about it, because that's the best way to apply it. So for instance, teaching people about active listening, this is a skill that helps you in every single situation. And
Yeah.
many people present with a concern or question in life general. I don't understand why I can't get along with that person, or I don't understand why that person never comes through what they say they're going to do. So it'd be like something that's bothersome, that's repetitive for a person. And active listening is just at least the first thing the person can learn how to do, to really see if they may not be understanding what's going on with the person they're in relationship with. And also that the person's behavior that they find troubling or difficult might be because they don't feel fully heard and understood. Not necessarily just by yourself, but by other people they've encountered throughout their entire life. So when they finally feel that resonance, that you hear them and understand them, or trying to, this can make a huge difference in what they are going to respond with and how they're going to interact differently with you going forward. That can be in anything. What comes to mind is something like just someone you're trying to engage for a service you need, that you're a contractor for a house or something, or some repairs. You want them to hear that you need something, but you want to know what they need in order to be able to provide the service in the way you need. And you have interactions back and forth. So that's a skill that everybody enjoys learning about. If they've already been doing it, they realize it has a name. If they haven't been doing it, they realize it's something they can try. And they also realize it doesn't just benefit the person speaking, it benefits them as well. So that's one that goes across all different experiences and people and relationships.
I've always loved the saying, God gave you two ears and one mouth for a reason. You need to, if you want to get to know somebody, you need to listen to them. You don't need to tell them who they are. They we can't assume who they are. So active listening, like I said, it is. I think it's something that's very important, and it's one of the things that we really try to push forward, especially when we're talking on February 22nd, our Veterans 22-hour podcast. We talk to people that the best way to talk to somebody who's contemplating making a drastic decision is to sit down and listen to them. Don't tell them what they need. Listen to what they're telling you they need, and then helping them from there. I think that we have a tendency a lot of times to all want to push our narrative on people or push our experiences on people and tell them, look, this is what I did and it worked perfect. That's fine. It worked perfect for you. Doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone.
Another important part of teaching people the skills of active listening is about letting them know that if they have to make an appointment with someone, let's say it's a boss to an employee, if a boss says on the email or on the phone, you come here, I need to talk to you, or I need to talk to you at 3:00, it gets a lot of anxiety evoked in the person because there's no mention of what it might be about. So the person's head starts to spin usually, and what could this be about? What is going on? Did I do something wrong? Are they upset with me? And the most important part of any communication request of someone when you can't talk in the moment is to just let them know, I'd like to speak if you could at 3:00. I have a question about X, Y, or Z. You let them know what it's about so that their natural inclination to use their imagination to fill in the gap of no information will be soothed. So that's another aspect of the listening dynamic, especially between people in close relationship, but also in work situations, as you can just see from that example. There's a lot about helping someone know what you'd like to converse about and having the person feel settled when they start with you. There's a lot of little clues that help things go a very positive way.
Yeah, those dreaded we need to talk text
Yeah.
messages. It's like, oh no, we don't. No. That's the last thing we need to do. I want to thank you for joining us, and I've got one more question for you, but I really want to make sure that you feel free to schedule with us again and come on anytime that you have something else going on. I found this very, very interesting, and I think that this is just one more option to give people to try for somebody who's looking for a way to heal themselves and heal situations. Because if you're having a problem communicating with anyone, maybe it's not everyone else, maybe it's you, and this is a chance for you to get in and really look at yourself. So, but what are some of the groups and organizations, populations, what are some of those that'll help, that you can help them really communicate and really help them be able to just work better together?
Well, the type of work I do when I educate people in the community, the types of groups that are good for receiving this type of workshop that I can offer. And again, I can offer workshops in different directions of what I cover. Things like lunch and learn experiences for businesses, like a health related segment that they sometimes have to have, about stress management, well-being. I've done some lunch and learns online with people where their lunch hour is spent where they need the credits from their organization, but they also need the information for health and wellness about the tapping. So that's been something that's possible. I've done it for business groups like Chamber of Commerce's and Rotary Clubs, just short 45 minutes to an hour informational sessions. And I often get a demo person up there with another person to show active listening a bit. And I streamline the presentation to the time allowed for it. But it works in businesses, schools, community groups, churches and synagogues, caregiver systems like nursing homes and assisted livings to talk to caregivers either themselves about caregiver stress as a group or generational communication issues between parent and adult child or adult siblings having difficulty taking care of or planning for a parent. So those are areas that the active listening and connection skills can be helpful. And also a place that wants to learn more about alternative and complementary methods of stress reduction that don't have to do with medication. They have to do with how we interact in the world, how we take care of ourselves. All of this is about self-regulation of the nervous system because so much of what goes awry in conversations and relationships is about being escalated. So when you referred in the beginning to feeling upset and angry and quickly wanting to respond, that's a sign of the nervous system just being in the fight, flight, or freeze mode. And that mode for all of us is where we don't have any ability to hear other people, to understand our own reactions and calm ourselves down, and then to feel more of a problem-solving, solution-based thinking come forward. It won't come forward because we're in that life preservation mode. Fight, flight, freeze was always about being chased in caveman days, originally by lions, tigers, and bears. And now that's not the case, although there are people that feel like that to us. It's more that we have to understand we have a nervous system that was very ancient, that's still in there. The amygdala is part of the brain that reacts to things as though they're an urgent life or death emergency. And often that's how we're reacting to the present day stressors of people, the news, anything that's going on. So I can help people with understanding their reactions. So situations or places that want skill sets, that's one avenue for how I can help people learn.
And how do people get a hold of you?
My website, I guess you're going to hyperlink, I think,
Yes,
when you add
it'll
it.
be down here.
So it's my name, avivachanskygutman.com, all continuous. It's spelled as it is on the screen, with 2 T's and 2 N's in Gutman, Aviva Chansky Gutman, all the way through.com. And my web designer is Mr. Z of the World Wide Webs, and I highly recommend him. He's been helping me for over 10 years, and he's a wonderful person as well as web designer. So I also have a LinkedIn page, but that's not too active really, as much as I'd say my Facebook business page is going to become more active lately. And I'll also be giving an article once every few weeks in a newly developed Instagram page called the Perch of Larchmont. And I live in Larchmont, Westchester, New York. And I do help people all over the country. It's not based on that for workshops that can be online, but in person, I live in Westchester, New York. And this is an advice column that's called Ask Aviva. So the first article that's out there, which they'll probably be able to see if they go to that Instagram page, will reference, and that'll also be cross-referenced in my stuff, my LinkedIn and my Facebook page, and on my website. That will be about the holiday stress of anticipating being with difficult people in the holidays, which nobody can relate to, right?
Well, I think that that's something that you and I do need to communicate on because we have the 37-hour recording for holidays. But thank you, Aviva. I greatly appreciate it. I hope that you come back and join us again.
Thank you, Zach, for all your active listening. Great skills. And it was nice to work with you today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Sorry about that. Aviva Chansky Gutman, and I greatly appreciate her. Once again, 631 885 4375. 631 885 4375. www.avivachanskygutman.com. Please go and check her out, see what else she can do for you. Our next video is with a dear friend of mine, and we are starting a brand new 30-minute segment every week, talking about humanity and how we can work better to support others and to create better humanity and respect and just work together in a better way. This is my dear friend, Maria Dolores. Hey everyone, the first thing I want to say is it is Thanksgiving week here in America, and I want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. And I would like to encourage everyone to where, you know what, you're going to have a little bit of extra food. Maybe bundle some of that food up and take it to someone down the street who didn't have the large family. Maybe take and bundle some of that food up and take it to your local shelter. Just a suggestion. Let's really make this a Thanksgiving day for everyone. Okay. So, Uh, one of the things that I am most thankful for are people like my next guest, Maria Dolores. She is one of the most beautiful people I've ever known. And she has started a program called the Human Contract, which is just so, Maria, it is so like minded. You and I, our organizations are really towards just giving people what people deserve, what people need. And actually what people are owed, and that's just a chance and dignity. But welcome to the show, and how are you doing?
Thank you, Zach. It's so good to see you. I'm happy. I'm happy, and I'm full of gratitude for today and for life. Of gratitude for my daughter and what you and I what we are creating. And I've worked with thousands of funerals. I've casketed 3,000 people. I've attended more than 1,500 funerals of all religions: Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, Sikh, and secular. With that, it's also a lot of gratitude for life. And 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 that's really why it's part of why I'm I feel a lot of love for humanity and for people. And it some people think it's weird. How can you say that that you feel love for people? But it's to see beyond all the labels, to see beyond the color of our skin, or whether we have lived a monetary rich life, or if we lived in with struggles and financial difficulties, whether we had a long life or a short life. It's really with the awe of just life. So I'm really happy. I'm happy to be here with you.
I I always feel like what I think I'd rather have curiosity over money a lot of times, because I want to learn. And one of the reasons why you're so important to me is the what you've done with the funerals. I am not a religious person. I am a religion curious person. I want to learn more about different religions than, I want to learn everything as I can about every religion, about every sect, about all of them. Just because I think that there is so much in ignorance that derives hate. I really believe that, it's fear and it's ignorance that leads to the hatred that people feel for each other. And I think that if we can just take and every day teach somebody or learn something new every day about someone else, I really think that that can take and start pushing some of this bad feeling back and start raising other people where they need to be. Is
Yeah.
that is that really one of the reasons why you're doing this?
Yeah. Actually, it started 10 years ago when or more. I would say it started longer ago, but going through difficulty, like when my mom died, I was with her in 2009, and to see her in her final moments, and to restore her integrity when she died. But it was also a very important pivot moment, a pivot year for me, was in 2013 when I divorced. And during that time, I say that, my ex-husband's grief over the divorce came. That's amazing. That's hilarious. So what also happened was that my ex-husband died of a brain tumor. So and that, all this turbulence and what we had, and my personal experience of facing and going through this fear, realized is that we are born with rights, and that we all need to mature with our responsibility. I give my ex-husband the right to hate me, that we have the right to all our emotions, and that's stated in the the human rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that we have the right to our body, we have the right to our emotion, we have the right to our thoughts. But with those rights, we should also have responsibilities. And so it's how we mature as individuals, but it's also how we mature as a species. And so that's what the human contract is about. And so 10 years ago, I wrote this book, State of Grace, Human Rights and Human Obligations. And then my co-founder, Stefan, was also with me when I was a keynote speaker at the World Peace Conference in 2022. And in 2023, I received the Ambassador for World Peace Award. And just recently, I was in California, and I received an honorary doctorate for the work that I'm doing. And the work is really about how we deepen governance, taking a stand for that we are born with rights, and that we all need to mature with our responsibilities. And I also have my upcoming book, the Human Constitution, which is building on this. So the human contract is the contract that we make to ourselves and that we make to the world. And the Human Constitution is taking a stand for these 7 principles. So the promises that we make to ourselves is the human contract with ourselves. And the Human Constitution is clearly stating that we have rights and responsibilities.
The human constitution, it also has you have it written in here as like personal maturity, and impersonal maturity, and global maturity.
Right, interpersonal.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah. So the first 3 principles is body, emotion, and thought. That you are born with the rights to your physical and mental health. And then you have a responsibility to mature, and to mature with our emotions, and that we have the right to all our emotions, but to what you said earlier, how when we are feeling our emotions, we feel the hate, we feel all these dense emotions, but it's also to face and to go through that and to release that. And in this process, I call this process the istima process. When we go from one perspective, and then we dive into, fear, anger, frustration, and we come to this breaking point, a realization of there is more here. Who am I if I'm not my this identification of what I experience, what I'm feeling, and to mature. And no one is complete. This is the journey that we are making as humans. So the personal is, and the third principle is about our thoughts, and to question our thoughts when we feel these emotions. It's indication that our thinking might need a broader perspective. So any kind of dense emotion, when we are when there is a cognitive dissonance, there is something more to be discovered. So all these emotions is just indications of you have the right to feel what you're feeling, but there might be other aspects that we do not see. And so that's the first three principles: body, emotion, and thought. And then about our relationship, it's power, communication, and life. So if we talk about the fourth principle, that you have the right to your personal power,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the right to your time, your energy, you have the right to your financial power, and you also have a right to your physical power. And as we mature, also becomes our sexual power as we interact with each other. But we have both rights and responsibilities in our power and how we act and interact. So power, and then communication, which is freedom of speech, freedom of creativity, and freedom of expression, but also responsibility in what we say. And here is dignity so important, and to listen to each other, and to be in discovery of other aspects and how others are communicating. Um, and so that's the fifth principle out of the seven. And then the sixth principle is about life, that you have the right to your life, and you have a responsibility to respect others' way of life and other life forms. So it's how we can collaborate and unite and better respect life in the ocean and life on land, which ties to the seventh principle, which is about our collective rights and responsibilities. Because I believe, Zach, I believe that when we unite, this is how we can really make a difference in the world. United, we will make a change.
See, what you were saying is so complex, but it's beautiful because every single one of us has the right to be, and excuse the language here, but every single one of us here has the right to be an asshole. We can be an asshole,
Yeah,
but we can't treat someone else like an asshole. That's not, it's
yeah,
not our right to do that,
yeah,
because other people have just as much right
yeah,
to this location, to be in the space that they're in.
yeah,
There was nobody that, there's nobody that's put in place, thankfully, anymore, that was brought here, and they're here unwillingly. Usually people are where they need to be, where they want to be. you
mhm.
know Thankfully, we don't have anything like slavery here in the United States anymore, and it's, except for, well, we do have some slavery. I don't want to say that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do actually, and that's so fascinating because we have, Zach. This is horrible. We have 45 million slaves in the world today. We have never had as many slaves on this planet than we have today. Yet, Zach, we have never had as many slaves as we have today. We have 45 million slaves in the world today on this planet. Yet we have never had as few in percentage, because we are 8 billion people today. So in the 1800, we only had 1 billion people living on the planet. So we have fewer in percentage, but it's all over the world. I mean, I've heard statistics that here in Stockholm, we have 200 apartments with girls that are being bought and sold every single day. So there is slavery everywhere, but we don't really see it. And what I find so horrible is that it's everywhere. And if we have 45 million slaves, then how many million is around that? Buying and selling and trading and security and
Yeah, how
it's
many people are culpable for what's going on?
yeah.
I mean, you got to think about it.
And
There's
that's why,
there's no supply without demand.
right. And yeah, and that's why we're making various movies and to communicate about this. One movie that we're planning is in Uganda, and it's addressing forced marriages that we want to make, and it's based on true events. um, it's about this 14-year-old girl, Subi, and the understanding of how can you sell your daughter, uh, because you are right in that spot. It's live or die, and it's with the idea of that, she will be well off, she will be better off, uh, and and the darkness of, we that's why the seventh principle about our collective rights and responsibilities is so important, because again, like I said, united we can make a change, but the change needs to come both from around, uh, the challenges that we have, the division that we have, or the segregation, or the environmental, and the pollution that we have. um, it needs to come in the with the people who are working with and around these challenges, and with other people who have solution, because I believe we have the solution, we already have the technology, but it needs to be better collaboration and giving the right preconditions for people to be able to choose better for themselves. I believe that people want to make the right choices, but it can be, uh, difficult. So yeah, right. So here are the seventh principle: body, emotion, and thought, our rights and responsibility for our physical, mental health. And then power, communication, and life is addressing our interpersonal relationship. And then the seventh is our collective rights and responsibilities.
Right. And I wanted to bring these back up because we showed this last time when we had our last interview, which by the way was too damn long ago. Um, but and you first off, please forgive my wording. I knew what I wanted to say. I just didn't know what I was saying at the time. But yes, being very well aware of how many unfortunate is instances of slavery when we around human trafficking we have. I mean, it is just sad. But my point is that, you know what, people are, you know we live in a quote unquote free society, and people should be able to live a free life as they wish to at all times.
Yeah.
Okay, they
Yeah.
should be able to do whatever they want without the fear of you ruining their life. And so that's one of the, it's such a beautiful message, Maria, that you put out when it comes to it. But your 7 principles are, these are good for you. And once again, you can be a jerk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You were going to say you can be a jerk. Yes.
Yeah, you can be a jerk. Other people can be jerks. That's fine. But you know what? We don't need to be jerks to each other. Truth is, everyone has a right to be here. Everyone has a right to live a life that they're working hard to do, to live. And nobody should be treated as a second class citizen, because there is no such thing as a second class citizen. We're all first class, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and Zach, this is why the human constitution, the purpose of the human constitution is simply a more mature humanity. And so, an immature way is to believe in the thought that we have, first class and second class and third class. It's, it's, that's an immature, that's a very narrow minded way of thinking. And so, uh, people who believe in that thought, uh, it's also creating a lot of frustration and anger and rage. And in that, again, with those dense emotions, there are just, it's basically life knocking on your door saying there are other aspects to be discovered. So whenever we are experience dense emotions, like you're a jerk, and so I'm going to curse now.
No, please.
To say, like, yeah, fuck you, I can say whatever I want to because I have the freedom of speech. Yeah, and you have a responsibility, and we need to mature to to broaden perspectives, and we need to listen to each other. So with the freedom of speech also comes a responsibility to listen and a strive to mature.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the old Spider-Man moniker with, with great humanity comes great power.
Yeah.
So, hey,
Yeah.
I do have one question for you, and what is the and hopefully this can help explain a little bit more about the Constitution. But what is the difference between avoiding conflict and approaching discomfort with dignity?
Oh, that's such a good question. That's such a great question, because just recently I was looking at um, Sasha, the filmmaker. He make Borat,
Oh,
and
Sacha Baron Cohen.
yes, right. And when I first saw him, um, I would say maybe the first 20 years that I've seen him, I never liked him, uh, because I thought he was acting in a very undignifying way. Now, broadening perspectives, and when I saw him earlier, um, I thought he was acting in a very immature, undignified way. Today, I can see that he was really poking on all the difficult, like sexism and regarding religion, and he's been really addressing all these hard topics, but doing it with, like, making fun of and poking. I'm not saying, is that right, is that wrong? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think, if from my perspective, I believe in that it's good if we strive towards a more mature and dignified way of communication. But yeah, there are various ways in how we create, but the core is really, why are you doing what you're doing? That's what's interesting.
It is kind of funny that in with what Sasha does, he is the worst of all of us. But he's that way because we
Yeah,
allow him to be the worst of all of us.
yeah,
He's able to recreate those characters because it touches on so many emotions that people have, and I know there's a couple of people who definitely don't are not huge fans of his. I know there's a former mayor of New York City that uh, he's or New York that definitely not a fan of his. So
right. He's making fun of, right? He's been poking and making fun of a lot of people. But, looking at what he has created now for 20 years, it's because when he is Sasha, when he is authentic, when he with him, if we look at the broader perspective today, uh, what he has created is to make fun of people, of politicians, and he's making fun of people in power, really, in
mhm.
various shapes and form, and sta I would say authentically standing on the people who has less power, but he has done it in a very different way. Like he's inspired and been taught by like a clown, and to be a buffon, which is like the clown that is making fun of superiority. So I'm not applauding, but I'm not in the context that I see now. I cannot even. I'm not endorsing and I'm not condemning
Yeah,
uh, what he has done, but his ways are impactful in. But the point is really, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it simply to make ridicule of another person, or is it another? Do you play a longer game, a bigger perspective in what you are creating? And I find it just fascinating. For me, and what I stand for is with dignity and with maturity. And he said himself that a lot of things that he has created is very immature. So yeah, they obviously we can do a lot of things differently, and we can all mature, right?
yeah, and the truth is that once again, you know what? If those things if they disturbed you in your core, okay, yeah, maybe you just don't get the humor. Okay, that's fine. But if what he does disturbs you in your core, he's doing it as a lesson. He's like, you know what? If you want to be this racist guy, I'll show you what the world sees you as. I'll show you how ridiculous it looks to someone else.
Yeah,
And yeah, he's doing it because once again, he is he is able to do this to show, humanity how ugly we look at times, and how ugly some of us look. So Maria, I I truly, truly love everything that you stand for, that Stefan, that you guys are putting together. It's such a beautiful, beautiful organization.
I mean, it truly is. There is so much. I know I signed my contract. You guys have my contract. I signed it. And I encourage you all to go to the Human Contract website, and you can get there by scanning this QR code below me.
Thank
While
you.
you're there, make sure that you look for a partner to shop with, and you can take and help support them. You
Yeah.
can help them continue to do what they're doing. The act of showing up at these funerals and providing dignity to somebody who may not have had dignity, stunning. And it shows the beauty of who you are as a human being. And it also shows how simple the act of kindness and the act of supporting someone else can be. Because this isn't pulling out your wallet, this isn't doing anything like that. This is very simply showing that you care about humans. And I thank you for that. I truly, truly thank you. I thank you for being who you are. And
Thank
again, I started this whole, this whole interview saying I am very thankful for you. And I mean that, because you are truly one of the most inspirational people I know.
Thank you, Zach. And I'm so happy to be here with you and to meet your audience. And I'm looking forward to this coming decade when we can make a difference. And it's about all of us to mature and to care for our physical, mental health. It's about to set the rightful boundaries. And sometimes some people need to set more boundaries, and some people need to lessen the boundaries and to open their heart more, and in how we collaborate together as a species.
Now,
So I'm very happy to be here with you, Zach, and I'm looking forward also for people to reach out on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and we have an exciting future ahead of us.
yeah, yeah. And you can be part of that future by simply scanning the QR code below and supporting them and making sure that they can continue to spread this message. Look, it all boils down to something that we heard as a kid. If you're treating somebody, the way that you're treating somebody, if you look at yourself and you go, wow, I'd hate to be treated this way, stop doing it, turn around and go at it again. Okay. If you don't want to be treated the way that you're treating someone else, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
Okay. Turn around, treat them like a human being. We all deserve that right. We all have that right.
yeah,
And you don't have the right to make someone less than you are. So
right.
you simply don't. So, Maria, thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I look forward to working with you so much more here in the very, very near future.
Yes, yes. Likewise.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you.
Hi, friends. I'm Barry, and this is my amazing support gang, Zayden, Avery, and Bert. We're here to invite you to something truly magical, the miracle of the season.
This year, we're asking you to collect new books and board games. Yes, they must be new. And deliver them to the 2025 Chili Cook-Off, Community Pay It Forward, or your local children's ward at the hospital closest to you.
These gifts will bring comfort, imagination, and joy to children who need it most.
We also want you to read your favorite story, just like you would to your own kids, and record it for us to share on air.
Help us by purchasing these books and board games.
Open the cover and sign it with your family name, leaving the "to" blank for a nurse to fill in.
Let's celebrate the beauty of every tradition, every story, and every act of love.
Tell us about your favorite holiday memories. What did you celebrate? What moments with family and community do you cherish most?
Your voice could bring a beloved tale to someone who's never heard it before.
Businesses, we need you too. Sponsorships help us reach more families and make this season truly miraculous. Join us in showing your love for the community. Join us
for the miracle of the season.
Visit communitypayitforward.us to learn more, get involved, and share your story. Hey there, friends. I've been thinking. We all have our strengths, right? I can do this, but I'm not so great at that. I'm pretty good at talking to people, but I'm not so great at adding things into a website or app. Oops. I love speaking, sharing stories, social media, all those hashtags and algorithms. Yeah, that's a jungle I haven't quite figured out yet. Coming up with ideas that bring folks together, I'm all about it. But bookkeeping, let's just say numbers, and I don't exactly get along. But that's okay, because someone out there is good at those things. And when we work together, magic happens. See, Community Pay It Forward has never been about one person. It's a program built by many to support even more. Every one of us brings something special to the table. We all have talents that make us great on our own. But imagine how much stronger we are when we bring all those talents together. That's what Community Pay It Forward is all about. Your skills, my skills, our hearts, working together to make a difference. So tell me, what are you good at? Let's find out together. Visit communitypayitforward.us and join the movement.